Has anybody here ever caught themselves bowing to an Asian person? Because I did that the other day. I was at Publix, and this Asian man bagged my groceries, and I took them from him, and I said, "Thank you, thank you." And then I left, I was like, I don't bow at people. That's not something I do. That's not a part of my culture. And then as I got home, I continued to think about it, and I really started to feel bad. I was like, oh, did I insult that man? Like, I was just trying to be nice. I didn't even mean to do it. You know, and I really just felt embarrassed. You know, have you ever done that where you leave a social situation, or you put your foot in your mouth, or you say something stupid, and you leave and you're just like, oh, get it together, man. You like say that in your head. Because I do that all the time. I was like, oh, what are you thinking? I can't believe you just said that. But then, as I've aged and you grow older, you realize that, you know what? Everybody else really has that same social anxiety, right? They all have that kind of same self-doubt. I think we all share that together. And as I've grown older, I've realized you're not the only one that doesn't really have it together. You know, everybody else, we're kind of in the same boat here, am I right? That none of us really know what's going on. And as you know, as a kid, you're like 10, 11, and you're thinking, you know, our parents, okay, they know what's going on. They've got to figure it out. They know the system. Everything's going to be fine. They got this. The adults, they know the variables. They know what's going to happen here. They know where we're headed. But then I think, as a young adult, maybe like late teens, early 20s, you kind of have this aha moment. And that's when you enter adulthood, where it's just kind of like, oh, shit. Like, nobody knows what's going on. Like, nobody knows where we're headed. And I think that's what links us together, right? Is you realize one day that we're all just in this cosmic, flying through the galaxy in this organic spaceship called Earth, and none of us really know where we're headed. And I think that's the realization I've had as an adult, and that's where the wild adventure really begins. I think that's when I really realized that this is a wild adventure. I think about going through life and how we all think of ourselves as sort of individuals, right? We all have our own personality, and we think we're our own person. But really, I think we're a lot more connected than we think we really are. You know, you look at the birds flying through the air in perfect formation and weaving in and out and going perfectly together. You look at the fish in the sea, millions of fish swimming together in perfectly graceful, in this perfect formation, going through the sea. You think, wow, that's amazing. How do they do that? You know? But I don't think we're too different from those fish, you know? I mean, look at us now. We're all facing the same way, right? We're all drinking our beer together. I mean, we look like a school of fish. Come on. I mean, we're really the same thing. I mean, what a crazy wild adventure we're having. I mean, it's really, really amazing. And I think that's the wild adventure of life. I mean, it really excites me. I'll give you another example of how we're all the same, kind of like the school of fish. I think, you ever hear people say that they want to save the polar bears? Right? People say, oh, the polar bears, the poor polar bears are going extinct. We got to save the polar bears. Sometimes I think, well, maybe that's not the direction as a society that we should all be heading. You know, people are schooling together in this school of thought. But what if people had that idea back in the day, like prehistoric times, with the pterodactyls, you know, like, oh, we gotta save the pterodactyls. The poor pterodactyls are going extinct. Can you imagine how terrifying it'd be if we still had pterodactyls? Giant birds with like 30-foot wingspans just swooping through the air, scooping up your children. Can't have playgrounds anymore. Playgrounds would be a very dangerous place for people to go. I think that's the first place pterodactyls would go. But it is a wild adventure, and I cannot think of a more perfect city, Orlando, or a more perfect place, East End Market, to be in a better school of fish. I love this school of fish of Orlando. It really is awesome. I mean, how awesome is this? Right? And that, to me, that's the wild adventures. We really don't know where we're headed or where we're going, but you know what? Could not be more happy to be on this captainless ship with all of you here tonight, going on our wild adventure, headed somewhere.